For me personally, it was when my son was diagnosed.
3 years after Coach Shell was declared cancer-free, Matt and his wife Kim experienced every parent's worst nightmare.
It kind of just started where at night I would have terrible stomach pain. So I would just be sleeping and then I'd wake up literally screaming to the point where I would be sleeping in my parents' bed every single night.
And we were back and forth to the doctor maybe 3 or 4 times with the same stomach ache, low-grade fever. Once all the tests came back, we got the news saying it was stage 4 neuroblastoma.
At 8 years old, Jacob Shell was facing a formidable disease that affects 1 in every 7,000 children, most of whom are infants and toddlers.
To be honest, I don't remember a lot of it, and I think that part of it is because I couldn't comprehend what was going on. I don't think I ever realized how severe stage 4 was until many years later. I don't think I realized that I could have died.
3 surgeries, 6 or 7 rounds of chemotherapy. It was chemo and surgeries at Albany Med. Go to Boston for more treatments. Come back home for radiation.
Monoclonal therapy was the final leg of Jacob's 14 to 16-month treatment plan. He was the first patient ever to undergo the experimental treatment at Albany Med. Matt credits it with saving his son's life, but not before one of the most harrowing days of Jacob's cancer fight, when he had multiple seizures, including during the entire 45-minute ambulance ride to the hospital.
It was scary. And again, one of those things where you kind of just go into yourself a little bit and you're just hoping and praying that something good's going to happen. Emergency personnel, doctors, nurses, everybody were there waiting for him. They just basically just yanked him right out of that ambulance, took him right into a room, and I don't know what they did, but they saved him.
Jacob does remember that day, but more than that, he remembers being surrounded by the love of his family, friends, and the Burnt Hills community throughout his cancer fight.
I think that that's one of the reasons, and I stand by this, I think that that's one of the reasons why I was able to overcome cancer, was because everyone around me, my community, and then the other communities around me were rallying behind me, saying, you can do this, you have this.
Jacob was declared cancer-free in 2010. A year later, the Shells created the Shell Strong Foundation to give back to those who helped them. It has raised more than $350,000 for places like the Melody Center at Albany Med and the Double H Ranch, where Jacob and his sister Hannah are now camp counselors during the summer.
So the Shell Strong Foundation isn't just helping one place. It's helping as many places as we can, because the way we see it, like, this money that we have is meant to make the world a better place.
Jacob is now a happy, healthy 20-year-old with a great perspective on life.
And I'm so glad that I was able to come out of it with nothing but hearing loss. I have hearing aids, they're Bluetooth, they double as earbuds. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world that can happen.